Alright, so turn up my audio, turn up your audio. So far, seems to be okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's buffered. I saw it just buffer.
I forgot. I'm not seeing it though.
You not seeing a buffer?
No.
Alright, if you're not seeing a buffer, then alright, we'll go then. Let me stop looking at this. I'll just pay attention to the. I don't know if anyone else is in the chat. We've got like was it 3 viewers. I don't know if anyone else can see if it's buffering or not. I'm saying I fucking hate when I'm here because I ain't got the right connection. I'm not at home where I've got my gamer speed, so it's like this is just regular browsing thing, like on VC. Yeah, it's just fluctuating.
Yeah, I don't really see it buffering for me.
Is it really not buffering for you? Because what I don't want to do, I don't want to do this and then it's just like a whole bunch of skip and it's annoying. That's the thing. Do me a favor, just drop a message as well in the chat, just so that I know that the chat box and stuff is working.
Uh,
So annoying.
Alright, yeah, it's buffering
Yeah, it's buffering, is it?
a little bit.
Yeah. That's the problem. It's like the buffering. What kind of effect is that gonna have? It's just gonna sound terrible. On the other side, I don't want to go through this whole thing if it's just gonna buffer. It says we've got 4 viewers. I don't know if anyone else that's viewing could just say what the quality's like on your side. Wonder if it pays to just take away the background image or something like that as well.
Could be.
If that's gonna help, let's see. Chat box don't seem to be working, but I can't be surprised it never damn works. Not on time anyway. But is it still buffering on your side? Now that I've taken.
No, not now.
Is it showing up as black?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Alright, we'll give it a try from here then. So let's kind of start from the beginning. Like the African diaspora, i.e., people from the UK, various parts of Europe of Caribbean origin, uh, and the US, especially like us too, part and part Europe, have this entitlement mindset of Africa owes us something, and we have this savior complex of we have to go and develop Africa. We must build it up. We can do it. We know everything. The Chinese and the Indians and this one and that one. We can figure it all out, right? And I take a huge issue with that. Now, one of my big issues with this is the hypocrisy of UK-based so-called Pan-Africanists of Caribbean origin that are so quick to run to Africa in the name of, Garveyism, Pan-Africanism, building up, the country in question is Gambia. You're so quick to want to help, and you want to do this and you want to do that, and they're not in great shape. They're pretty much on equal footing, I would say, with a lot of African countries in terms of you've got corruption, poverty, all these economic issues. There's not enough jobs, very young populations in some places. Why are you so quick to run elsewhere when you could just go back home and help out and kill two birds with one stone? You can go back, so quick to run to someone else's country and try and dictate how their immigration law, nationality law should be working. I think it's outrageous, and I completely disagree with citizenship. And there's a whole dispute now about the word automatic, even though it's still being used. And automatic means one thing, it only has one type of meaning. But now all of a sudden it's not automatic anymore. It's citizenship, and naturalization should be reduced by 13 years. So it should go from 15 years to that it takes to naturalize down to 2 years for the diaspora. And I completely disagree with that. And it's unfair that Gambians are getting the rap and being, labeled as, oh, they hate us, oh, these Africans this, and they're jealous, when they're just voicing their concerns and disagreeing with the idea of being able to make it so easy to become a citizen of their country. They have every right to push back on that and voice their concerns without being guilted, shamed, or bullied into this idea.
Yeah, man. It's like if you go into another country and you claim to know so much about that one country, you should be willing to, I guess maybe the word is to struggle along with them because now you're part of them. You can't really get special treatment if they're not getting special treatment also. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, it
yeah,
does.
like you come there to be part of them.
That makes perfect sense. Because who are you? Again, like the diaspora, whether you want to accept it or not, people use the word foreigners. We are. We are. We're not born in Gambia. We're not raised, right? You don't have the culture under your belt. You don't speak the language. You have this rosy fantasy idea of Africa's going to be great and you can escape racism, and that's all that you can think about, right? But there are real world problems, real, national issues, just like it happens in every other country within the Gambia, that their citizens come first. Why is it okay? That's quite similar to these other Europeans and Asians and Arabs and all these other foreigners as well, go in there, taking advantage, paying bribes so that they can go ahead and do what they want. What's the difference between us doing it and these other people doing it? There's no difference. But what I've heard is, oh, well, because of slavery, because of what we went through, because we're black people and we need to unite together. This is why we should be allowed to be constitution. I think that's so outrageous, self-centered, and entitled. And I feel that this self-entitlement attitude is bred out of the Garveyism Pan-African movement.
Yeah, like it's not that, it's not that I'm not saying that they don't have any right to be there. I'm just saying you need to learn when to fall back. Like they've been there longer than you, so just allow them to go and sort the issue out first, the way that they see it. It should be sorted out. Uh, yeah, it should be sorted out. But yeah, it's just that thing of like knowing your place. Just know what your place is. Don't try to, I guess, be more important than what you really are.
Right, Gambians aren't begging you to be there. You're making a decision that you want to go there to help out. Fine, just do what you want to do. In the sense where, all right, if you want to help develop, then just go and help develop. The Gambian government reaching out and saying, hey, we want to change our laws. What do you think? These are people petitioning and I guess getting the government's attention any other kind of way to say, hey, we feel that we're entitled to it. And people have been throwing around this word birthright. It's a birthright to be able to have land or citizenship in the Gambia, which to me is just insane to even throw that out there. A birthright, you're not born there. And again, not everyone's ancestry lies there. But this isn't a thing of, oh, let's fast track citizenship for verified descendants of people from the Senegambia region. No, this is diasporans. So all of us. So from Europe to Canada to the States to Central America to the Caribbean to South America. That's a lot of people that the Gambian government will potentially have to deal with. And I'm not saying that all of us, every single person in the diaspora is going to do that. No. But when you add the entire diaspora, all the sections together, how much people will we have? We'll have a lot of people. I don't even know how many, but it's definitely in the tens of millions, maybe even 100 million. I'm not sure, but definitely in the tens of millions. And then
Yeah,
what
well,
percentage of those people to, potentially want to go for citizenship? Why is that fair? That's a lot of people that the Gambian government have to deal with. There's already about 2 million people, from what I understand, in the Gambia alone. Very, very small piece of land. And then, you do have people that are legally dividing the land and selling it illegally to other people in the diaspora. Now, this isn't a fear mongering thing, we're just looking at it for what it is. So if you start having, flocks of people going into the Gambia and, potentially you don't know exactly what can happen. You just don't know. You don't know all these people that are coming in there. The Gambian government doesn't know these people coming in there. How robust is their system for verifying people, for letting people in, for granting them why? In a sense, as much as I think that 15 years is too long, 15 years is also the right amount of time to figure out who somebody is in the country.
now you got a point. You know, I mean, at one point I wanted to say is that, you know, they're asking for something to be given to them automatically. I'm like, if nothing can be given to the people that are already living there automatically, then you shouldn't.
Right.
Again, know your place.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds harsh to say know your place, but it's exactly that. And especially, again, going back to people from the UK of Caribbean origin, I dare you to, I dare you to try that with your country of origin. I dare you to try that. It's not going to work. If I tried that in Barbados, if I went to the BLP government and said, hey, I think, right, that the entire African diaspora should should get automatic citizenship, quote unquote, 1 miles, right? Should have a born Bajan citizen. How unfair would that be? So who am I now to say as a diasporan that I can agree with someone saying, hey, we as diasporans should be allowed to go to the Gambia, another tiny country, and be able to get their citizenship? That's completely unfair. Completely unfair,
It
very
is.
hypocritical. Now go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it's unfair. But like, you know, I think I was talking about it earlier. Like with Tanzania, like you have to treat what you already have like it's gold, like it's something that everybody would want, and that's what their citizenship is. So it's like with them, it's like you have to choose. You know, if you're truly dedicated and you want to be here, then you'll choose me. If you don't want to choose me, that's fine. However, you really have to sit there and earn it. I'm not gonna just give you this thing for free.
Right. That's the thing. You don't, and you know what? Again, UK people that are for this, that are pushing this, that think that this is okay. And maybe you don't for maybe two, three generations, maybe even four generations, right? But if you knew anything about back home and how certain things are working, some people are selling passports. Some countries sell their passports, devaluing the citizenship, sending them to international criminals. People allegedly getting diplomat passports, criminals. What does it? I mean, does that not devalue? Does it just mean that anyone can become, let's say, a Jamaican, a Bajan, a Trinidad? And I'm not saying that these are countries that are doing it because I don't. I know I point all of them out, but just use those ones as an example. Anyone can become it, right? We want to get so up if they become Jamaican citizens, if they become St. Lucian citizens, if they become, I don't know, Anguillan citizens, or no, actually technically, still a British citizen. If they become like, I don't know, a Grenadian citizen and they wave around the flag, some people will really take an issue with that. So what's the difference between you going to the Gambia and trying to just, in my opinion, strong arm their government into giving citizenship to a whole bunch of random people that they don't know, that are unrelated, that don't have the direct links that they can prove to just come into their country like that?
Yeah, this is probably where you're gonna. They do make it hard on you in order to get their citizenship. I mean, that's how they treat it. Like, you have to go through some type of test or orientation.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
have
it's
to
the
be
same
that
thing with the
dedicated,
UK.
knowing all this stuff about the country.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. You have to do a whole bunch of studying. You have to understand a country. Are you telling me that in 2 years, what, are people going to be able to learn the language? And that's another thing. In certain countries, I think you have to pass a language test. In the UK, you have to pass an English test. I guess it's reading, writing, and verbal that you have to pass in order to be able to come here. So if you can't speak
right.
Wolof or Fula or whatever other languages that are there, Mandinka, then why should you be able to? Are you going to be able to learn it good enough in 2 years? Probably not. Realistically, probably not. I'm technically bilingual. Am I the best at the second language that I speak? And it's been what, probably more than 2 years now. Nah, be realistic.
Yeah, like that language test thing that you're talking about. I think my mom, before she came to the U.S., I think she actually talked about a language test in UK because she might have gone there to live first, but that kind of deterred her and she went to the U.S. instead. But yeah, like you can't really learn all this stuff in 2 years. Like not even me, you know. Um, like for example, like I read about the colonial wars and all of that. Like I still learn about these things to this day, because there's still more that I don't know. So to know all these things, like it's not gonna work out.
Right, bearing in mind, there's learning, but then you also have to settle in, get used to the environment. You have to understand the people, how things operate. You have to get used to a new culture, and that's not an easy thing. So you're not gonna have, just everything's gonna be different. The way that it runs, the way that people interact. Like, some people, you live in the city, you don't have to say hi to no one. But I'm pretty sure that in Africa it runs similar in the Caribbean, where if you're walking down the street and someone says hi to you, you have to say hi. Good morning, good afternoon,
Definitely,
good
you
night.
have to say hi.
Right, you have manners, you be polite. People are more friendly and more talkative. So what's 2 years? Is that going to be enough for people to adjust, or is it just you want it to be 2 years so it's as easy as possible for you to get in the country and be able to do whatever you want, disregarding the Gambian people who are more of a priority than anyone else?
Say that they're better than us. No, I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just saying they're more of a priority because they've been there longer than you.
Well, yeah, exactly. They are born citizens. This is their country. Country is a diaspora. When Africans were leaving during that time, Gambia didn't exist. None of these countries existed. Okay, these countries have now formed. That doesn't matter how you feel about the formation, the Berlin Conference. The point is, these countries exist now. These are entities that exist, and you just have to respect the fact that they're trying to run their country and run their affairs. They have their laws in place for a reason, and you're not entitled as a diasporan, or if you want to call yourself descendant of slaves, African descendants of slaves, so on and so forth. You have this as a birthright, and you have every right because of slavery, and use this weaponizing slavery in order to get what you want from people. You don't have any right to do that, because if you're again, if you're from the UK of Caribbean origin, you wouldn't try this back home. You wouldn't. And if you do try it, see how they're not able to get citizenship by descent now. Bearing in mind, all my family on my mum's side are in Barbados. Pretty much all of them. The
Right.
majority of the clan are there. Okay. My dad's dad is also from there. My mum he had citizenship before I was born, but I still can't qualify. They're looking into reviewing the laws this year, which I'm grateful for, and I'm looking forward to hearing that they've changed the citizenship law so I can change it. But am I, writing petitions and trying to get the prime minister to change the laws because I want to be a citizen for anything that I want to be able to achieve? No, because that's selfish. It's not just about me.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I heard this topic of automatic citizenship maybe months ago that lives in Gambia that I think is from America. Yeah, they're from America, and even then they don't agree with that type of idea. It just wouldn't make any sense. You have to earn that. If it really means that much to you,
Right. But
it's like
it,
earning money.
yeah. No, go ahead, Michael.
Nah, that was it.
No, I mean it is like earning. It's like earning money. Anything that you truly value, you will happily wait for. You just show that you just want to get it now. You just want to get it now. You don't value it. You're not happy to wait. You don't respect the country enough. You don't respect the people enough. I mean, a decision like that should be left up to the people to say, yes, we want to be able to have, people from the diaspora come into our country and, have fast track citizenship to kind of, join the ranks of other Gambian people. They have every right to say that. And if people want to say no, they have every right to say no. And it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a is that they want something that's expensive, and the parents like, well, I'll buy it for you, but you have to earn it first. And the kid is just gonna sit there and wait for it, or try to do something to earn that. You're not just gonna sit there, well, unless you have some type of other kid that's, I guess, like a spoiled kid. But if it's a kid that never had much to begin with, they're gonna sit there and wait. They don't have a problem with that.
Definitely. Definitely. And another thing as well that I take issue with is people are acting like this is something that you can just do and that there's not going to be a clash, like a clash of cultures, right? Whether you like it or not, we're culturally different. It just is what it is. We operate in certain ways. People in the continent, and as diverse as a lot of it as well. But we and our attitudes and the way that we operate and think isn't necessarily going to be compatible with where you're going. So that needs to be considered as well. But people just, we just seem to be going off of this, oh, our skin color and slavery, and we just need to heal, and everything's just gonna be fine. If we just go to Africa, we can just heal and reunite and kumbaya and sit cross-legged and burn incense. Everything is gonna be fine. It's not gonna work. It's unrealistic. We're not looking at this from a logical perspective. I'm watching videos of the people that are pushing for this, that are proponents of this, and I'm trying to listen. I've listened to the videos over and over again, making sure I'm a lot of emotion and very little substance in the way of looking at things practically. It's just, you know, well, in history and, in the 50s and when Marcus Garvey and, back when Mansa Musa and irrelevant, irrelevant parts, irrelevant stories to the issue at hand from this. It's just so many irrelevant things that have nothing to do with anything. You bringing up the past isn't gonna or shouldn't have any kind of sway or an effect on how people view this. And another thing as well that I want to say is this whole when a lady, can't remember if she even disclosed what part of Africa that she's from. I think she's from West Africa. Um, she was kind of agreeing with the whole, you know, they've been disconnected and they don't have a culture and they just want to come back and reconnect. Number one, and I'll speak for Afro Caribbean people, we do have a culture, and if we cared about our culture enough to stop selling it out and watering it down and ignoring it and letting it die out with the elders, we would understand our culture and be able to very easily link it back to various parts of West Africa and Central Africa if we were really serious about reconnecting. She was also co-signing this whole, the use of slavery, and that justifies being able to have easy citizenship or automatic citizenship or a 2-year pathway to citizenship. And I don't know if it's just because she doesn't want to disagree in case of how it may make her look to the diaspora, but I'm saying to any continental African or continental African in the diaspora, don't feel bad. Like, don't let people guilt you out of your opinion because you disagree and they use slavery and say, well, how dare you? We went through this and you sold. If that's not being self entitled and you weaponizing slavery in order to get what you want. That's like holding a gun to someone's head. You're holding slavery over someone's head, or pointing it to their head and saying, if you don't give us what we want, well, then we're going to use this against you, i.e., slavery. And to me, that does more. That does more of a disrespect and more of a disservice to the ancestors that everyone loves to talk about by frivolously using slavery to try and get what you want, just because you are not getting what you want.
Yeah, that is a bit messed up that they would use like a traumatic event like that just to get what they would want. But um, what was the point that I wanted to make? Damn, I forgot. Damn. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's cool, because it's like you want to talk about all this reconnection and the ancestors. Everyone loves to mention the ancestors this, ancestors that, but you don't respect your ancestors enough to understand that, okay, is these people that are in this country are really and truly the same origin or the same tribes as your ancestors? Are you just not happy to respect what they're saying? Or is it just like you, a lot of these people seem to be just out for themselves and just want to profit any way that they can and capitalize as much as they can over the Gambian people?
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Just another way to capitalize. Because I know some people from other parts of the world are also doing that same thing anyway. But it's like they just try to kind of like hide it underneath this traumatic event because it's still relevant somehow.
Yeah, no, it's right. People that push this, they want to justify what they're doing, and then it's like you put something that is very sensitive and sacred to a lot of us and kind of use it as a shield to say, well, if you're disrespecting this traumatic event that happened to us and you don't respect what happened to us and our ancestors and we fought and we did this and we did that, and the ever so irritating line of, oh, you never sent ships to come and get us, why didn't you come and get us?
Yeah, that pisses
All
me
that
off.
silliness, bunch of crap. But again, I mean, now let's kind of move over to the east part of Africa, right? Because now you've got people going to East Africa. Again, under the guise of, oh, I want to reconnect in the motherland and my homeland. Michael, I don't know. I don't. Obviously, I'm not intending to be offensive, right? But you're probably not related to us like that. Actually, no. No. I think you're half, aren't you?
Half what?
Are you half African American?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay. So all right. So you are related, but let's just say from a Kenyan perspective, right? Let's say if you was a full Kenyan, you don't have that same shared history and experience from a lot of these East African countries for the most part. But people are using this, going to East African countries, disrespecting people, and I've seen it. So they want to be busybodies, movers and shakers, and business people. But again, under the guise of reconnecting with the ancestors, we want to do this and we want to do that. Last time I checked, we weren't picked up from Kenya for the most part.
Nope.
Now, again, just a genuine question. I'm not trying to be funny. For all those people that say that they want to reconnect to where their ancestors come from, why do you run to places like Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda? What, like, why? Why are you not so interested in Nigeria, uh, Benin, Congo? Why is there such an aversion to these sorts of places, but everyone's so quick to run to the east?
And you know what? Um, this is just my theory. Like, I don't even say this to be offensive to my own people, but at the same time, it's like even us, we're friendly. Like we're laid back. We don't really make too much of a fuss about anything, you know. But for like, they just want to be met with kindness. But even still, if you brought this automatic citizenship thing to them, they would be looking at you like, "Are you crazy?" they might tell you in a nice way, but at the same time, it's like, why are you doing that? Um, but maybe what also attracts them is the fact that maybe like a place like Kenya is like um, how you would say more developed, not necessarily more developed, but it's progressing, uh, and everybody can notices that. But
But everyone seems to be scared, and
I would,
again, everyone wants to talk about reconnection and the ancestors. People from the Caribbean, okay, Bajans, listen up. Most of your ancestors come from Nigeria, or what the region now known as Nigeria.
I might be Nigeria. You never know.
You never know. You just never know. So again, you want to talk all this reconnection and the ancestors. If you want to be genuine, if you want and gain off of the place, and stop, putting it under the guise of you want to reconnect with the motherland and all this nonsense, and you want to heal. It's very fake, and Africans are not stupid. Continental Africans are not stupid for the most part. Like, some people are naive, yes, but people can see when you're bullshitting, and they've been seeing that people are bullshitting. You go to our countries, you're being disrespectful. It just seems to be about you wanting to gain, to capitalize and to profit off of our countries and our people. Maybe the cheap labor. Yeah, you might pay a little bit more than these foreigners, these Chinese and so on and so forth, but you still come across as basically black colonizers, and we're not interested in that. Help if you want to actually genuinely help. If you want to help with a service, do it because you want to help the service, not because you want to profit from it. And they have every right to say that. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, like for example, like if I found out that maybe the other half of me was from Nigeria because I want to profit from them, I'm going to the next place because both of these places, whether it's Nigeria, like for example, if it's Nigeria and Kenya, it's because I genuinely care about these two places, not because I'm trying to make money off of them. I think they have to have that same attitude.
Right, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with doing business, of course not. Business is business. Business is great. It helps. It's productive. You're doing something and you're helping people by providing jobs. Yes. Trying to, you see, going back to this whole savior complex, I think with a lot of this, I feel like a lot of this mechanism stuff encourages people from the diaspora to go over there and feel like they're almost, helping African people. And one comment that I seen, was it yesterday or the day before, in a live stream, really, it triggered me. It really pissed me off, and it just, to me, this kind of screams the mindset that this Pan-African, we must go back to Africa, ideology breeds. So let me read this comment. And they say, I don't have time to dignify your comments any further. Just know that diasporans with cash on hand are coming for that land to invest, build, and hire locals. Be grateful.
Now I can go right.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, okay. You see, this is the type of thing that pisses me off, and this is also another issue that I take with another YouTuber because he doesn't really understand what immigration is anyway. I'm not gonna say who it is, but to this thing about bringing capital, I'm like, you do realize that you're not the only one who comes with capital. Some people leave their countries to go and get capital, so it's not
Exactly.
like we're just unable to just go anywhere else. But you're not special because you've brought it. The Chinese have done it. The Middle Easterners, they've done it. The Indians, anybody can do it. So to think that I have to be grateful to only you, I'm like, no. I can be grateful to my cousin who lives there who decides to go to the West to go and get money, not just.
Exactly, 100%. I mean, that whole attitude of you should be grateful. No one is begging. This is the thing that people in the diaspora don't seem to understand. No one's begging us. No one's like, please, diasporans, please, we need your help. You know who is begging them, funny enough, or asking for diaspora to come back? People in the Caribbean. Barbados is saying, hey, diaspora, like, come pay attention because, we're struggling because we're so foolish to rely on tourism to really help our economy. Now we really need people to start coming back and looking into this place. If I'm not mistaken, there's a huge, I think it's like 20% of Gambia's GDP comes from foreign remittances from Gambians abroad sending money back. I'm only repeating what I've heard from Gambians. I
Most likely it might be true, but I'm not sure.
think there's 40 something million or four was it 40 million? No, was it 40 million or 400 million? It's a lot of millions, basically, that are sent back.
Maybe, yeah, maybe like 14 million. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
But it's not very far fetched to think that also because, I mean, you got a whole bunch of people sending money to their countries every day. So, I mean, I know it. You know, my mom does it like, done every week, I think. So, it's not that far fetched.
No, it's not. It's not that far fetched at all. It happens a lot. Western Union, MoneyGram, they're not going out of business anytime soon. What's the other one? Is it World Remit? All these other remittance companies,
Yeah, it's well remit. I know that one, yeah.
they're huge in Africa. RIA Exchange, that like they almost like a Cash App type of thing where you can send
WhatsApp
money through.
also.
Yeah, WhatsApp, all these different things that you can do to send money through. So the diaspora is not being begged for development. It's nice that you want to help, but to tell people to be grateful and how you're going to be coming for their land to invest in, just the whole spirit of that is off. And this person, I've and I feel like it's an underlying issue of like, well, we're doing this and we're gonna do that for you. We're gonna help you. You should be happy that we want to help you, and we're Africans together. And it's like is it like a passive aggressive type of attitude, kind of like low key underneath? This is how people are feeling. And if that's how you feel, and if that's how you're gonna come to Africa, then stay back where you are, because they don't need that energy.
People think that we just need to rely on somebody else. We no, we don't. You know. Um, Gosh, man, it makes me. They just never had that type of. I guess you would call it privilege before.
I mean,
I don't know.
the privilege is there in the Caribbean, but UK Caribbean people don't seem to want to take it. You don't want to go back home because for whatever reason it's too hard for you to go back, and you don't want to do nothing, or because your family's there, or you don't want nothing to do with them. But your country is just in equal position as these countries that you claim to want to help. Hypocrisy. Our countries now are slowly but surely starting to build up relationships with African countries. Barbados is forming a relationship with Kenya, Ghana. I'm waiting for them to start working with Nigeria. But slowly, slowly, these changes are starting to happen. And these
But
other foreigner people, the Chinese are coming into the Caribbean and Africa. So what does that tell you? They'll be double dipping. They'll take from the Caribbean and they'll take from Africa. They'll profit from both. And what they will probably end up doing is, let's say you start a processing business in Africa, the Chinese, and then they sell their products in the Caribbean. So they profit both ends. As an example.
yeah, there you go. Devon is asking for the link.
There's no. You gotta jump into the VC. Hold on, let me tap in the go to the chat. One sec. I can't type. No. That's something that wouldn't surprise me that the Chinese will do in the future if they're not doing that already now.
Yeah, man, it's clever.
I
I have to
mean,
give them credit for that, even
they're
though I don't
astute
like
business.
it.
They're astute business people. But then at the same time, we complain and say, "Oh, look, the Chinese have taken over our harbor. They've taken over the port." Well, that's because you're too interested in looking into Africa. You don't even want to look at what's going on back home, and then you find out it's too late. The Chinese have already taken up the place. Our grandparents, well, I would say a few grandparents, I'm gonna say all, but I know for my grandparents, definitely were on their way to going back. People didn't really have the vision of coming to the UK and living their days out, here and dying here. A lot of people wanted to go back home, whether it was to retire. take money back, start a business, do what they want to do in the country, in the UK, amongst us. We don't have no kind of community. We always say, oh, there's no black businesses, and I mean, there technically are, but we're not in control of our shopping affairs. Like, we don't really our own supermarkets. We don't have really any supermarkets, not that I know of. The basic functions of a society we don't have within this country, but every other group does. Okay, it's expensive in this country. Why don't we just go back to our countries of origin then? Why don't we take our capital and move them back there and make the place a better place? Why not?
Yeah, that's one part. You could do that, especially with all the capital like this other guy was bragging about. You can do a lot with that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot that you can do. You can go to Jamaica. Jamaica needs infrastructure projects and stuff like that. And you've got all these foreigners that are coming in and doing all of these things. The Chinese going into Trinidad. I think they built a hospital. But yet we're not concerned about that. We're just concerned with, oh, let's go to Africa and let's completely abandon where our family come from or where they're at. To want to focus on the Caribbean over Africa, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, what you can do is you can help Africa, you can trade with Africa by having a business back home. This makes more sense. Used to, okay, we left there 300 years ago. Yeah, that's 300 years. Like, you're not really from there. You're not from the country. Country didn't exist. But you can go back home and make connections there. The more business, I think, the more business that we do with the continent from the Caribbean, that's going to make stronger business ties and eventually stronger political ties. Why not do that? Does that not make sense?
It makes sense. I mean, you can kind of even see that happening now because with all these bilateral trade agreements with some African countries, it seems like they're kind of cleaning up their act or at least getting their act together now.
Right.
It could make for something good in the future, but then I'm gonna have to wait and see. But I haven't seen something like this like ever.
This is the
So
first time that it's happened. It's really funny because, we boast of independence in the Caribbean and we're so independent. What took you so long to link back with Africa if you were so independent? Something tells me the Commonwealth is somewhat involved in that. Why not start working with African countries more? We eat the same, we share the same things, we have very similar interests. Why not make the move from there? Why don't you push your government in your respective islands and say, hey, we want to do business with Africa. Can we set up some kind of an arrangement with these countries, or the AU, CARICOM, and the AU work together to come up with some kind of agreement? Wouldn't that be more beneficial for both sides instead of you running to Africa and just doing everything in Africa and forgetting about back home?
right, like, and in order for that to happen, like the AU really has to get itself together because it's a mess right now.
Same thing with CARICOM. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
We're in the same boat, and this is the part that we're missing. We are in the same boat. It's not like one place is worse than the other. They're equally in the same position in our affairs. We should be working together to shape these things off. I mean, hey, if it really came down to it, I mean, shit, you can have the English speaking Caribbean work with the English speaking former colonies of Africa, the French work with the French speakers, and so on and so forth.
Obviously.
If it really came to that, I don't see why not. But we're just so focused on, let's take this so that we can just focus on the little businesses that we want to do in the name of we want to help the diaspora.
See,
It's fake.
my view on that is Caribbean leaders A lot of them need to move out of the way. And the people need to elect and write a constitution by them for them. I would call them sellout. They are puppets working for massa. Their whole agenda is to divide and conquer. The Caribbean people on a whole believe they want to hop through from island to island without being stopped and providing a passport and a shutdown and use from here and use from there. Believe Caribbean on a whole freedom. But you're dealing with these politicians who, me, the white man just move out of the way, put one of our brothers there to keep us in the same position, pay him a little bit of money, give him a little bit of power, as they did back on the slave plantation. Some of the slave had some power. It's the same thing. Unless we move them out, the people come together, which you wouldn't get all of them, but I'm going to get it quite a bit. And we on the same page, on the same page where we want to go from here, want to accomplish, what we want within our environment as a people. Do we want to keep the same system we've been living under? Do we want to change that and create our own? Do we want our own currency? Do we want our own? What is it that we really want? Yes, all of us ain't gonna want that. Some of us, maybe the majority of us, might want something different. I think if we can come together and put our collective minds together, find out what is it that we really want, where we really want to go. Do you want to continue living under this system? You can't win. You literally can't win.
But everything better because you're from the diaspora. Why don't you focus your energy on back home? Because this is you're saying what these issues are. CARICOM hasn't worked. CARICOM has failed. CARICOM's been around for damn near 50 years. Where's regional integration? Where's
Yeah, but
where's
Craig,
the
yeah,
economic
but
in the region, right? We have a whole diaspora in this country of people of Caribbean origin. You have people in the States of Caribbean origin. You have people in Canada of Caribbean origin. Why are we not focused on the Caribbean? And if you wanna be able to help, because we come from similar places, similar climates, we have similar interests, similar background, similar values. So doesn't it
it's
not
not
make
going to
sense to kill two birds with one stone instead of
make
just
sense,
running
but
to
it
Africa?
wouldn't happen.
It can happen. People do it.
No, it can, but it wouldn't. Much treaties, Europe had bound them. That was Caribbean hostage. Who you make deal with or who you don't make deal with, who you traded and who you don't make traded. Look, Barbados is trying to get away from Britain, trying to get away from Britain at the moment. And I think every other Caribbean country should do that. Dismantle the system one by one.
Absolutely.
They have no influence whatsoever. Change all the names that they put there that represent them.
Right. So why can't us here in the UK, right, who love to well, some reason we started to develop this identity crisis, but for 2 days out of the year, we remember that we're from the Caribbean and we love to wave our flags and say how much we back home. Why are we looking to run away from problems into Africa, try and strong arm a tiny country into handing over their citizenship to us when we have just as many and equally pressing issues back home? It's hypocritical. It doesn't make sense. There are
It's
so
like
many
religion.
problems. If
It's like religion.
Yeah, it is like religion. And from what I'm hearing of Gambians in their diaspora, people from Gambia, right? They managed to get their last president, Yahya Jammeh, out after 22 years. The diaspora was the one that banded
Yep.
together to make the change. The diaspora do what they can to help out their country. What kind of Caribbean diaspora? Really and truly, because you live in the Caribbean, do you think that us out here in the Caribbean diaspora do anything significant or substantial to help back home?
Oh, they only talk. They talk and then give good gestures and everything, but they don't put
Yeah,
their
we don't
money
do
where their
nothing.
mouth is.
Yeah, we don't do that. We just talk all this. We're so proud to be Caribbean, and we with this and with that. We wave our flags and talk all this foolishness, and carnival and caravana and this and that. But you can't be bothered to help out with your country. Yeah, we know that there's corruption. Every country has corruption, but why is it that we use this as an excuse? Oh, it's too difficult. No, it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult. If you make the change and you make the effort, the same way that we love to and educate people about how Britain, the Commonwealth, is actively suppressing our region, the US, and its treaties and all this nonsense that we've signed is actively hurting our countries. How the why are we not doing that?
The system doesn't want people to elevate themselves mentally.
I know it's
You
not, but
have a
I'm talking about the people. Forget the system. It's the
yeah,
people.
but you have to understand, system is using the people to do their dirty work. I'm saying the system is using the people to do their dirty work. They're not coming out and do it anymore as how they used to do. What they do is that they put them in power, them in position that we call big position. Give them a little money, give them a house, give them some status in society. Because we kind of run like, oh, this one is more than so because the one up there have money and so forth. We have that kind of mentality.
But I'm
So they
talking
give them
about
some
us in the
power.
diaspora, Dev. I'm not talking about politicians or people back in the Caribbean. I'm talking about here, us here. There's nothing stopping us.
Yeah, but you see, but you all see, you have to understand mindset. Yeah, maybe you have to understand the mindset of some of the Caribbean people who leave the Caribbean and go to these places in America and England and these places. Yeah? Some of them live a quote unquote better life over there. That's what they sell us. Yeah? So with that mentality now, somehow they have created some good life over there. Yeah? Not all of them. Some of them are struggling like you don't know what. They wouldn't come back home and because you're gonna look bad on them because the stigma is ever you leave to go to Canada or America or England, you're supposed to come back better than you leave. You're supposed to come back with wealth. In other words, you're supposed to come back with the world because that's what they sell us, Caribbean, up to today. So when you look at some of the mindset of the people that came from the Caribbean and go to these places, still stuck in that mindset, leaving and come back home now without anything to show is despicable for them. So they were, my grandmother used to say, suck salt. The worst life they could ever have, and they know they could have a better life home because of shame and pride. Wouldn't say, pack me up and ship me back home. I'm going back home because when they leave, they leave with the impression in their minds that, hey, I'm going to America to make a better life of myself. I'm going to be. Because they didn't come to that place. They born there and grow and see it. Although they might hear stories of why they came and so forth, they didn't have the experience of leaving Grenada or different Caribbean country with the stigma of you're going there to become something. They will see things different like how you see in it, Jay. The way you speaking it is because there and you seeing it from a different perspective. But someone that coming from the Caribbean, the stigma of Caribbean is such a hellhole. America is woo, the apple of whatever. Once you get there, Opportunities for everybody. Go over there and we make a fool of ourselves. No, we can't go back. We can, we could, but we wouldn't because why? No, people who you leave back home go expect you coming back with something. That's why whenever Jake go to visit Barbados, all of my members expecting something from her. Yeah, still goes on today. The offspring children that are born over in these places. I would have to change the narrative because some of these people, their brain already cook. I go back home. What am I going to show? I go and show. I spent 20 something years over here. What I have to show? Because the expectation of leaving your home to go to these places is to get a better life. And then you're going back. You're supposed to be coming back with a better life. My father, been over there how much years? Since I was 3 years old. Had business and all of these type of things. You don't want to come back home because why? What do you have to show? Do I have to show? I have nothing to show. See, that mentality has to change. You guys, because you guys live over there and see what they're talking about. It does not resonate with I. The pie in the sky and whatever. Yes, you might have one or two opportunities. It's not like what they're painting it to us. But basically, what they're telling us, your country is a shithole. Your country is whatever. Come over here, get a better life. So as long as that didn't change, people who have their business and have lived over there, who are Grenadians and intention and where you see they come back, invest into their own country, very rich. So
Arrived at my
I
point.
look at it as a mindset.
All right, now you've arrived. Oh, see, now you've arrived at my point, right? And this is what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not talking about people that have left the Caribbean and now they don't want to go back. I'm talking about people who are of, let's say, like my parents. Both of my parents were born here, right? I'm talking
Mhm.
about people of Caribbean origin whose parents or grandparents migrated to this country and you were born here, right? So you were raised up, you know where your family are from, you know the problems that are going on back home, you know this. And instead of going back to contribute, like you said, having the mindset and saying, you know what, let's contribute back to the country where my family are, they're saying, I'm going to run to Gambia or any other African country because people just point their finger at any part of Africa and just say, yep, we're going here and let's go build up there. And I'm just like, how is that reasonable? That doesn't make sense because in the same breath, I'm talking about these ones who speak all this Pan African. Why don't you focus on building back home? And if you want to work with Africa, create jobs back home because unemployment is high, crime is high. Do something to contribute to helping these issues. And you know what? You can either start a business in Africa and these businesses are linked and you can, help in both sides or partner with another business in Africa and do trade. That's more reasonable. But instead, you have people that are born here, raised here of Caribbean origin, love to boast about how Jamaican, how Bajan, how Grenadian, how Trini they are. But they all of a sudden, let's run to Gambia and get sick. But you forget about the countries where your family's from. Is that not hypocritical?
It's hypocritical. You see, Gambia is offering them that. See what
No,
I'm
they're
saying?
not. That's the thing. Gambia's
Not?
not.
Oh.
These people are strong. You've got this woman in the UN to, I guess, change the constitution and write in the constitution that people from the diaspora, right, not just a small section. This is the African diaspora are to have something about, oh, it should be given at the airport, which I think is stupid and ridiculous and dangerous. But they're saying we want to have access, we want to have the same rights, and we want to be able to be citizens as well, just because of slavery. And I completely disagree with that. It's hypocritical that the people who are pushing this from the UK I dare you to go back to Jamaica and try that. I dare you to go to Grenada and try that. I dare you to go to Trinidad to try that. I dare you to go to St. Lucia, St. Vincent. I dare you to try that anywhere else. Go to Barbados and try that. You wouldn't do it. So why is it good for
They find a weak link.
right? So they're not doing it
Well,
for a genuine intention. This is
mm,
self-serving. And all that this does is the Gambian people are seeing, come in here, you're just trying to benefit. It's like you're trying to do, how white people do, they go over there and they do the oh, we're doing
yeah,
charity, we're from Red Cross and we're trying to look good. It's
yeah,
this same kind of thing. And it's just, to me, it's black imperialism. You're doing the exact same thing that all these other people do, just in blackface. But when Gambians now are saying, you know what, we don't agree with this, and here's why, and they're giving their opinions and how they feel about it, then it turns into, oh, these people hate us, Africans hate us. And that's not the case. So you're weaponizing slavery and saying, well, if they disagree with us, we're just going to keep throwing slavery in their faces and saying, well, we deserve it because of slavery, which disrespects the legacy of slavery, what happened. Everyone loves to talk about the
yeah.
ancestors this and the ancestors that, but you're just willing to throw that in people's faces as if it just doesn't mean anything, like it's just a get out of jail free card.
Yeah,
Where
I
does that
think
make sense?
Ike, Michael, what's your verdict on that?
Yeah, like I think I said main priority, and then after they get what they need, you can come after that because they do know better about that land than you do.
True.
So yeah, that's what I think. Though
I mean,
they,
Devon,
'cause it
would
comes
you?
off as selfish.
Sorry, I just want to say, Devon, would you,
The,
if someone said, "Oh, we want we want the entire diaspora, so U.S., Canada, Central and the continentals in Africa to have access to Grenadian citizenship, and it should only be 2 years process for them to have full rights and citizenship to Grenada," would you think that would be fair on Grenadians?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, point blank. It wouldn't.
But
First, you gotta
somehow,
have consultation with the people.
this is good enough for the Gambians, and they should accept that because, quote unquote, it's all of our birthright, which is nonsense.
Yeah. Think, I think, I think we got to look at it too as what is the main reason why they're doing it? What is behind all of this? What is the purpose of you getting a citizenship? What's the purpose of it? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to benefit the economy and the people of that country having their citizenship? Yeah. How are you going to benefit? What are you going? What plan do you have? You just want to go there because you have a same skin color, another way from quote unquote Africa. What is your purpose? Why are you there? If you don't have a reason, you don't have a purpose, a legitimate reason to be there to get this citizenship. Stay where you at. Okay, you might just be bringing more problems to that country and the people. Not because
Can I read
you
you something as well,
but
by the way? Because I wanna get your opinion on this. Because I read this comment earlier on to Michael, and this really triggered me when I seen it. I was on a panel the other day, right? And I was looking through the chat, and I seen this comment, and it was so disrespectful. Let me get this comment. So it says, so this person is replying to a continental African and says, I don't have to dignify your comments any further. Just know that diasporans with attitude, so many times you hear it in the way that these people are speaking, the way that they act, the way that they respond when people from the country are speaking. This whole thing of, you better be grateful that we're coming. Like as if
you
you're
know
superior, like you're better than these people, like they asked you to come over. But this would,
you know
if someone said that in Grenada, how well would that go down with the locals?
Key did say that something like that. He did say something like that. The prime minister did say something like in that respect. There with the Egyptian billionaire still on the beach, and we shouldn't protest and say nothing about it. That's what he is saying literally. That person is saying the same thing. We are coming here with money to bring economy, so sit back and relax yourself. You don't have a saying. You can't have a say to say, well, I don't want you here, not even though we want the money, we want the economy. In other words, that's what Keith was saying when they were protesting to do it. He building the Egyptian billionaire building on the beach, literally trying to take over the beach. Went in New York and said, man is a billionaire, the man is a billionaire. I gotta take his money anywhere else. Yeah, we making fuss over nothing. That person with that comment it literally said the same thing. Yeah, coming over there with money. That's what they say literally.
So
I don't
no
think
regard for
hold on.
Grenadians, no regard for the locals. It's just, hey, they
Exactly,
bring in money.
exactly,
We can load our pockets up with some of this money. At least those at the top anyway.
exactly,
Be grateful they're gonna be
exactly.
paying you minimum wage in a job that
Hmm.
teaches you no skills, that doesn't benefit you, and you're gonna be earning chicken change.
Yep, that's what Keith does. That's what Keith do to us.
And
When he
that's the
say
same
jobs,
thing that
jobs,
this
and
woman's
jobs,
saying
that's what he
here.
does.
That's the same thing this woman's saying here. We're coming for your land.
Hmm.
Be grateful
Hmm.
that we're even coming. Like just the whole attitude, and this is the self entitlement that I've been seeing from people in the diaspora that just feel that they just have this God given right to run up into a country in Africa and just you can do whatever the hell you want. You have right to citizenship. Africa don't owe us nothing. If you really wanna, if you feel owed, then it's time to go to Europe. Go to Europe. Even try and get even an apology out of the UK government. You can't do it. They won't even apologize. That's who owes us: the UK, the US, France, Germany. I'm not actually sure about. Maybe, possibly, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal. All these Western and Eastern European nations that were a part of this. That's who owes. Not a bunch of
Jay, you have to.
people who faced the same fate of slavery and colonialism in Africa. Like people act like all of a sudden we got taken off a boat, so we were being waved goodbye while everyone else was standing on the beach as if people weren't colonized. Like, hello, Congo, people, how many millions genocided? So many things happen, but if if people from Africa were going over to the Caribbean demanding citizenship because our ancestors, were Africans and they helped build this place up and they were brought here, oh, it'd be a different story. How dare you? You can't just come here and demand automatic. Well, why is it good for them then, but not good for us?
See, I don't understand the narrative that is plaguing the earth. Is that as long as you have money, bracket, wealth and money, you have automatic right to do what you please. Yeah, because system programmers that we need money. So who have the money have all the same because you need the money. So I have a couple $1 billion. It could literally come into your country through your government. Things that common businessman who's trying to struggle to keep his business afloat wouldn't even get. Yep. And it's just because that I have a couple more dollars than him. When you have that type of narrative where your money makes you important, it's not about credibility, it's about who have the most money. They don't give a shit what life you live. If you're more, as long as you have a lot of money, you have a fast car, you have a big house, have wealth, yes, you're important. And that's what is happening around the world. Wonder why these billionaires and these millionaires can go into countries, these countries that the economy is struggling, and bring their money and literally take advantage of these countries. Because these stupid prime ministers and leaders that we have They don't have the people business of heart. They have their own interests of heart. They will see this billionaire come in and they see a chance that they will get cut under the table. That's what they're concerned about. They give you jobs, give them all kind of license to open a restaurant business, whatever. They will never hire the locals for the big jobs. Big job that pays a lot, they'll go outside and hire other people. Happens in Grenada here. If you go into Sanders right now, one see the people who are the top paid in Sanders. Not one of them is Grenadian. The waiter, the bus boy, the girl that works in the room, the cleaner, yeah, these are the one you find in abundance. You want the labor. You don't want the no help in making the citizen life better. I blame.
And I 100% agree with that. And I feel like this is exactly what's going to happen if the Gambian government open up the floodgates to let anyone from the diaspora in. Because soon enough, and it's again, people, it's like they want to deny it, because I've been hearing people denying it, like, oh, that's not what's going to happen. Gambia's not that important. No one's really going to Gambia like that. It doesn't even matter, because the point is this: like you said, anyone with the most money is going to be up there in class and status. So you're going to now have this group of people with more money that are going to be concerned cheap as possible. So it's going to be just Gambians working these lower jobs. It's the lower labor jobs, cheap jobs. It's going to be the exact same thing. And I don't understand why people are acting like, oh, because we're black, it's not going to happen. No, it's going to happen, because that's the nature of it. You're going
Yep.
over there with money, with the expectation that you're going to do all these things with this money, because it's all cheap. So you're going to want to open up a business, you're going to open up a restaurant, a hotel, this, that, and you just need the cheap labor. You know you don't have to pay them as much as you would back, in the UK or the US or whatever. Minimum wage, it would never be livable in any of these so-called developed nations. So you're doing the exact same thing. You're exploiting these people under the guise of black people and togetherness and
Yep.
Pan-Africanism. It's fake. If you want to go there and do business, then just say you want to do business. Stop going over there with this whole we want to reconnect and all this stuff. You tell the locals one thing, but then you're showing your ass another way and embarrassing the rest of us who, let's say, people that do have genuine intentions and just genuinely want to go there to reconnect, to learn about themselves. Now you're going to create a sense of distrust.
I blame the
Really and
leaders.
truly, Gambians have to, yeah, no, blame the leaders, and anyone that's accepting bribes
Yep.
should definitely get in trouble, that are pushing for this thing to take place, who are from the UK, who should know better, because you wouldn't do this back in the Caribbean. So again, it just goes to show how much of a self-serving thing this is, and how snakish that is, because you may not be able to get away with it in the Caribbean, and you won't get away with that in places like Nigeria and Congo, where a lot of us on our origins lie there. You won't get away with it there, but you're gonna try it in a place called the Smiling Coast, where it's a lot more laid back and a lot more friendly, and people just
Yeah.
want to chill out. And so you see these people and you think, oh, these are easy people to manipulate and take advantage of. And it's the same thing that the British saw with us. Oh, these are docile people. They're very cool, friendly, welcoming, and they took advantage of that. So what is the difference? You're right to do that.
Yeah, but you have to look at to how Africa and the Caribbean is sold to the world, yeah, to the rest of the world, yeah. Poor and hungry and starving, and you know what I'm saying? So the man with the money, he coming, pushing the money, he's seeing where he can gain a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because the picture that they're putting out there of the Caribbean and Africa, that they're hungry, they're poor, they're this, they're that, they're whatever. As Donald Trump say, a hell hole, a shit hole. Yeah. So when that is throughout out there now, people who come in with money know that okay, can't just come and do what I want just so. I'll come in the name of investment. I'll come in the name of giving jobs. But in the process of that, would exploit the people and leave you where I met you. May give you a couple of dollars, but it wouldn't get you a different level. Doesn't change because all that you're going and work for, you're still living without water, you're still living without electricity, you're still trying to make ends meet. The politician will preach it to them. Thousands of jobs, especially Mr. Keith. Oh, thousands of jobs. How many jobs you're going to get? Job you want, job you're going to get. Yeah, but what are the jobs paying you? Those jobs are temporary. When the project done, majority of people got to go home. What happened? When you're working for $900 and $800 or $700 and $600 a month, what that can do for you?
I'm sorry, is
It's
that
better
is
it
that
in
US dollars or is that Eastern Caribbean dollars a month?
Eastern Caribbean dollars.
Eastern. So you're telling me that people are earning what 700 Eastern a month?
Yep,
All right. So let
yep,
me let me first of let's do the conversion rate on that because that is insane. So let's have a look at
yep.
that now.
Some of them five, some of them six.
Wow. Let's see. So let's say the most $700.
Mhm,
That's gonna be Eastern Caribbean dollars, and we're gonna convert that to let's do it to US dollars. So
mhm,
Caribbean dollars to US dollar, that's 260 US dollars a month.
mhm.
Or in
Yep.
pounds, let's have a look. So in pounds, that's
Be like four,
183
before
pounds a
some.
month. If that money.
Mhm, yep.
So instead, Caribbean people in the UK, why don't you go and focus on building up back home, not exploiting the people, training people, showing people different
Mhm.
skills, opening up maybe training schools, businesses, make people more valuable so they can earn more money.
So the
Why not do
narrative
that?
that they push here, especially Keith, job you want, job you're gonna get. Nothing to do with the salary that you're getting for the job. That's what the campaign slogan is. Job you want, job you're going to get. So you get these businessmen to come in, invest, and open a bill hotel, whatever. But how much they're paying these workers, these jobs that they're doing, how much they be honest with you. There's some of them working for $300 a month. I'm not exaggerating. Some of them are working for $300 a month. 300 a month. You see it's what being sold to them. Job you're gonna get. Job you want, job you're gonna get. A lot of these workers don't know their rights. All they know, I just want a job. I just want to eat, and I understand. It's a survival thing. They don't know their rights, and a lot of these bosses and owners of places, they know better. And they know that these people don't know their rights. They take advantage of them. They exploit them to the fullest because they don't know their rights. There. A lot of Grenadians would not challenge the boss that easy because they don't want to lose their job. And a lot of these bosses know that. They wouldn't stand up to them. They'd rather take it, make sure their job's secure, and go home and vent. And bathe next morning and come back to work like nothing happened the day before. You find a lot of that here. A lot of people don't speak out in their workplace. Just take whatever it is. They tell other friends about it, but they wouldn't stand up to the boss. They tell our friend, boy, you know, the boss did that. They wouldn't challenge the boss.
And things can change if people, it's up to people to make the changes, whether it's the Grenadian people. And again, you can understand that they're in a position where they're barely making anything on. So yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
have to tolerate the abuse. But again, there's a whole diaspora spread across the US, the UK, different parts of Europe, and Canada back home. But we were born in these countries. We've had different opportunities in these countries. Instead of looking to run somewhere else that you don't quite have that connection with, like you do back in the Caribbean, like we should be focused on back home. We shouldn't be looking to run up into someone else's country and dictate to them how their
Mm,
constitution and how their law should work. Why don't you do that in your own country?
true.
Especially where you can get citizenship as well. Why not?
People,
Because at the end of the
people
day, money that'll shut them politicians up.
get Western minded, bro. Hey, get Western minded. Some of them don't look at those in the diaspora don't look at the Caribbean as their home. Look at it as their vacation spot.
Hmm. But
You look at it as a vacation
you're looking at
spot.
Africa and you're looking at Gambia and you're talking about this region. Hi, we've got a whole region here called the Caribbean, which is just as vulnerable and in the same position as a lot of African countries.
Yeah.
They're hypocrites, total hypocrites. I just find it really, really repulsive, and it's like you really want to get upset and you want to start disrespecting and calling names on people from Africa who are just raising legitimate concerns about having a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
potentially swarming their country, but you don't even care
Yep.
enough about where you come from.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I mean, I've been talking to a bunch of Bajans on the ground as well who are concerned about what's going on in Barbados, what's going on in their country, and the Caribbean
Yeah.
in general. People are really concerned. The governments don't care. Things are getting worse. Society's devolving, and no one's doing anything about it. We have all the answers for Africa, but none for the Caribbean. And it's not to take away from Africa, no, but the point is to say, why are you not starting, like, they say sweep your own doorstep before you sweep someone else's? Why are we not doing that?
You see that. Look at it with Barbados. Barbados trying to get British out of the way, so China can move in because China can do what they want with British still have ruling in Barbados. So once they get Britain out, so China gonna wave money in Barbados' face. So China do come and they want to do this, want to do that. They want to. Oh yeah, we gonna just give your stuff. So you have to give something in return. That's how I look at Barbados right now. They're trying to get Britain out because right now China high
Hmm.
Barbados
Yeah, I agree
and it's
100%.
tired. So once Britain is out, they have no allegiance to them anymore. Those are free for China. Because they already promised them to build how much roads and whatever, but they can't do how they like because Britain still have a clause over Barbados. So I'm looking at the Prime Minister. She's sure she know what she's doing. She really know what she's doing. To look out on the other side of the world and see what China have done. How much thing they have taken back from people because they can't pay their loan. Jamaica is one of them. They have Jamaica port.
Roads and everything, the Chinese have
Exactly, and they
gone in toll
yeah, and they
roads.
own it.
Yeah,
You got to pay them to go across the highway. Got to pay a token to go across.
right.
Airport there now.
Hmm. But yet
So
you've
it's
got
so
people talking about, oh, look at what the Chinese are doing in Africa. Look at what the Chinese are doing in the Caribbean. You lot could be running to
exactly,
Africa with your Superman cape on,
exactly.
trying to save Africa from the Chinese, and yet they're taking over all of our islands, all of our countries. Again, hypocrisy. Like, what is the point? With
I give you a little secret, and you're going to hear more about it as we go down and put on this side and to fix the present one, to expand it. There's no way Grenada could pay back that loan. Eventually, China will end up with that airport. No way Grenada could pay back for that airport on its own. The airport belongs to China. Not officially. Once China owns that airport, now China don't have to go through Europe. In other words, they don't have nothing to do with Europe anymore. They could have a straight link to many different parts of the world from Grenada. Grenada is a strategic place. I'm saying airport told keep that. Keep cursor out and put the phone down on her. She told him making a sad mistake. Don't do it. We don't have the capability to paper out and put the phone down on her. We go ahead and make the deal with China for the loan. So don't be surprised that you decide some in the future, you decide to visit Grenada, and you've seen that Chinese managers and so forth, and you've seen Chinese foreman and boss and thing on the floor running it. Grenada cannot pay back for that loan that they take from economy is not that robust for that. Yeah, tourism, exactly. Exactly. And he's still ain't giving up. And he's still ain't giving it up. He's still fighting it. Still pushing it. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. Hmm.
they keep on
Hmm.
pushing, for us to be, enslaved by all these different people. But again, the diaspora, we see it because I've had conversations with people. This conversation does go on over here. When was the last time you went back home? What did you have? You looked at how business works there? Have you talked to anyone? They couldn't tell you.
Hmm.
They can't tell you.
Yeah.
I can't do
They
much
coming
because
like
I'm not a
tourists, man.
citizen, but I've made
Coming back like tourists.
communications with the right sorts of people and found out
Yeah.
information. That's what all I can do for now anyway. Until I get, my papers and all this sort of stuff, I just have to wait for that to get
Yeah.
sorted out. But it's like we
Yeah.
talking, we complain, oh the Chinese this and that, but to even pay a visit to even see it for ourselves what's going on. I used to like Mia
Big-
Mox. I thought I don't know, maybe it's because of family bias and the links in the party and stuff like that with family, but it's just like at first she started out okay.
Selling it. She's selling it Barbados slowly.
Yeah,
Slowly, she's selling them out.
yeah,
But to China.
she's selling Barbados up to
Yeah.
China. Easy.
And China's best friend now.
And
And
it's so
China
it's
see
all
that.
with African countries, and that's great. So we can start to trade with them. That's fine, but they are also in the same boat with
Yeah, but that's
China.
what I'm saying. Yeah, because China, exactly. So you're going to be trading back to China. It's a win-win for China. It's going to be a win-win for China when you're trading back and forth because they're in the same boat too as well. In the same boat. Time for we wake up and take a stand. That's the problem. We just lying down and let these people run over us or do what they want. And what we do, we sit down for so long that it become the norm. Oh, they're accustomed to it, that man. I eat and them. I'm saying, but does it mean it's right? Yeah, man, yeah, man, so there is, man. Like politician. And you give them the right, I will continue doing it. Nobody charging them. Nobody bringing them to court. None of them making a jail for it. Obviously, they're gonna continue. Obviously, they're gonna continue. Constitution that we have in Grenada give the politician a right do whatever they please, and you keep the Constitution give them that lead way to do that. Constitution give them that lead way to do that. So you can't be mad at them too. They just being a politician because when you look at the definition, what part of the definition of a politician? Lie, thief, trick, deceive. All of that is part of the characteristics.
It's
I'm not
proof.
mad at them. I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the people.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm mad at the people who are trying to change the Gambian constitution instead of changing the Grenadian
Mm-hmm.
constitution, the Jamaican constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Worry about your country's constitution and what's going on where you're at, where you're from. Worry about that. Don't be out
Yeah,
here embarrassing the rest of us with this
yeah,
diaspora act like you speak on the behalf of all of us, which you don't, and trying to
yeah.
so called get citizenship on our behalf when you can go and worry about where we come from. And it's like, it's repetitive. Me saying it again and again, but it's like to drive the point home. Like, this is ridiculous. This is so dumb. And the thing is, Gambians are not saying that they don't want people to have citizenship. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, yeah, we welcome it. If you want to be a citizen, then fine. Respect the process and go through it like everybody else.
But
Don't
Jay,
have nothing
so
automatic.
citizenship by investment makes a lot of money. Last 2 years ago, you know what makes the biggest revenue in Grenada? Citizenship by investment.
Selling passports,
Four
basically.
hundred $400 million is
They sell
selling
passports.
passports.
Yeah, of course. So they're devaluing the citizen.
Mm. The people roaming the world now with Grenadian passport and never even set a foot in Grenada. But they are
Imagine.
ambassadors.
Imagine. Diplomat
They never
passports and
set
all
a
that
foot.
crap.
Diploma exactly. Because they pay a couple $1 million. There's millions of dollars for it. Yeah.
I mean that just speaks for itself, and that is where Gambia, I feel like it
Yeah.
would end up being in the exact same position, and it's sad.
Hmm.
I mean, Michael, I don't know if you have any views on that as well, because you've also got people running to Kenya now, trying to buy up land in Kenya, and I don't think legally they can do that because they are not citizens of Kenya. I think in Kenya you have to be a citizen to be able to buy.
Yeah, I believe that's the case also. So, yeah, I don't think I would trust anybody that's coming from abroad to sell me land that I know it's there. And yet, there's
Yeah.
other people that still need it, and they've been there for years.
True.
Yeah,
Then again, money talks, bro. Money talk. They may not
that's
be in a
right.
position to buy it. The man with $1 billion and $1 million, you get the first preference. You just have to look rich, you know. You don't have to be rich, you know. Especially to do with Pete. You have to be rich, you know. You just have to look rich. I show him a diamond, a big piece of diamond in a photo, and he gave $55 million. Just, oh God, Lord! You just show him, just show him a piece of diamond in a photo, you know. He'd give him $55 million to start a project. Took it and run with it. Ah, boy.
That's exactly what's going to end up happening with all of these diaspora people running up into Africa. They're going to be doing the same thing,
Hmm.
making all these promises. Oh, look, I
Hmm.
got this diamond here. I
Hmm.
got this money. Don't worry. Just let me do the thing
Hmm.
now. Let me profit off of it now. And then they're going to go and do what they want to do. So, again, I just want to say for anyone that's listening that's, continental African, don't let these people guilt you into accepting for your constitution to be changed. Push back on that. You have every right to challenge it because it's your country at the end of the day, and you come first as a citizen over people that are trying to strong arm your government into giving them something that they're not owed.
I agree with you 100%.
At the end of the day, when something happens in Gambia now, let's say, God forbid, a coup happens, political unrest, these are the first have to go. It's too unstable. I have
Exactly.
to leave.
I'm a citizen of the United Kingdom. I'm a
Right.
citizen of America.
And it's the same thing that these other foreigners do when these whites are running up into the Caribbean and their passports getting on an emergency flight back to where they came from.
You really care about the country, huh?
Exactly.
Hmm.
You know what? Maybe Gambia might need to do something like Tanzania, and they're like, hey, listen, either you're here with us and you're staying here because you say that you care about this place and you give up the other citizenship, and if you can't give up the other citizenship, all right, well then you could just go. We don't want you.
Yep, yep. Know that you're here. Know that you're here for the right reason.
Right.
Not here with one foot in and one foot out. And many times something go down, you pull your other foot across and say, no, I'm British. No, it's your foot 2 feet planted.
Right. Be genuine with your intentions, or just don't bother. That's it.
Yeah. But we
That's
had to speak
exactly
that
what's
to,
gonna
to the
happen.
to the leaders too. These people cannot do these things without the leaders giving them approval. It has to go through them. And that's why I say we have to hold the leaders accountable. You have to hold them accountable for the things that they do. You see, the people don't know their power. Keep depending on the leaders and not realizing leaders are working for you. They got to give an account to you. They got to come and let you know. You don't have to go and beg them. No, they're working because of you. They flip the script, make the people, once you're coming to me, you could decide your destiny. I'm saying? So the people need to take back their power and know that, look, these guys are working for me. And if I want this to change in 1 second, but a lot of people don't know the power that they have. Have given it over to the politician, and the politician make a mock with them. That's why you find you're asking them what they will do. In other words, what they're doing is that they so much depend on the politician that they put everything in the politician's hand and leave it there, not holding them accountable for things. I vote for you, okay, that's where it stopped. I don't have nothing else to do anymore. I don't just accept whatever you do. No, you gotta prove to you that they're doing what is in your best interest. They have to prove to you what is you're doing what in their best interest. And if you're not, then we kick you out. We're not going by maybe and okay, I go change, I go do it better. No, 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 no. You mess up, move you out. Put somebody that can do the job. The problem is that we keep having those old dinosaurs in the same place years after years after years. How you expect to get a change? That you just so desire. You have these old dinosaurs just there years after years, years after years. Long only this year or last year. You said this is the last year you resigning. Oh, 2 months ago you say you're running in the next election again. You know what I'm saying? So when you have all these people with these old ideas and these old way of doing things, you expect to get a different. You expect to see a different. So you have to, Grenada have to put it, look, they change the constitution and put, look, 5 years, but within that 5 years, if you messed up, they that hurt the country and the people, we get rid of you and call an election and get somebody else. We don't have that. The men could do whatever they want and they could stay for 5 years without no consequences. Only the only so election could call only if one of them leave. But they leave the party. decide they're leaving in government, they have to call a snap election, a by-election. So, so with that being said, some logistic have to put in place in the constitution. If these men know that, hey, look, mess up, out, no second chance, because they know they can do whatever they want, how they want, when they want. The people wouldn't. They're a politician, not for the people. To protect the politicians, not the people. And unless Grenada get to recognize that the constitution that was given to them by the Queen protects the politician, not the people, because the constitution protects him. As a matter of fact, he didn't even give a shit about what people say. Okay, he don't pay allegiance to Grenada and their successors. He gave allegiance to the Queen and her successors. So we have to look at that as well too. We pay allegiance to, not Grenada. So basically, he don't want to give an account to Grenada. You have to answer to the Governor General who represent the Queen.
Various Western nations have more of a reason and more of a duty to look more so back at home than going somewhere else. And that's it. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. I'm probably just gonna wrap this up now
That
because I'm
do I.
gonna get to bed.
Yep. Thank you for
But
having me. Bless everyone. I keep your head up. Stay focused, Jay. Stay focused.
well,
Thank you for
thanks
having
for
me.
coming on the panel.
Yeah.
I think
Wake up,
Michael's still having a. I think he's still on a phone call. He said, but
Yeah, I'm done.
Michael.
oh, you here? All right. Do you want to give any? What's your opinion? Do you want to give any last words?
I think this the last thing is just know your place, and everything will just play out after that. That's all I have to say.
Fair enough. Couldn't agree more. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's a good thing. See, knowing your place, knowing where you fit in, where you're best fit, so that you don't mess up the flow of everything else. Yeah, I like that. Know your place. But yeah, I just appreciate anyone that's viewing. Are we fair in saying that it's hypocritical for people of Caribbean origin in the UK and across the world to be focusing on Africa and trying to build up and develop Africa, but they come from other countries that are in the practically the same boat and need as much help and development, but they're more focused on somewhere else. Leave your opinion in the comments. Also subscribe to my alternative channel, which I'm probably gonna start using more because I really don't use it, and why have it if I'm not gonna use it? I think I put. Let me just make sure I put the link in the description. Just bear with me one sec. Of the panel shows as well that I was on by a channel called Mr. Uganda. I actually recommend that his channel because he does really good discussions. You have a varying amount of like different opinions, personalities, and stuff when you get on the panel. And yeah, I definitely recommend his channel. Click on the Discord link to join the Black New York City server on Discord. And yeah, subscribe to my alternative channel and just give your opinions. Everyone's welcome to their opinion. Much appreciated. And cheers for coming on the panel, Michael, as well.